Dr. Heather Highland is here now talking about why diversity matters in genomics. Thank you for joining us. And I know some of the things we're going to be talking about is the strategies for achieving that diversity, but let's back up and talk about why it's so important.
First of all, it's the right thing to do. We are in a point in our political conversation where we're starting to really recognize the shortcomings that we've had as a society, and we need to make those right. And this is one of the many ways that we can make it right. There are a lot of health disparities that still persist today. We have different populations that are affected more so by certain diseases than other populations, yet most of our medical treatment is still based on the white man. And that doesn't give everybody the best care that they should have. And so we need to branch our research out and include all populations. The people that are most affected by a disease need to be the people that we're doing the research in.
And not only are the diseases impacting a very varied community of people, but the treatment response is different.
Exactly. So we have to, if people are going to respond differently, if we haven't tested a medication in this population, they may have some sort of more common genetic variant that puts them at risk for an adverse outcome. We need to know this in the earlier stages, and perhaps there's a drug that would work beautifully for some people that have a certain variation that doesn't work at all for other people. And knowing these things, personalizing medicine is really important. Not only can we personalize medicine, but especially when it comes to more of the common disease spectrum, we all share the same underlying normal biology, and it's disrupted in various ways in different populations. And so as we figure out how it's disrupted, maybe that's a pathway that we can target that could be a drug for multiple populations. And because we've only been looking at Europeans, we've only been looking at potential druggable targets that are seen variant in Europeans, and there's all this additional variation out there that we should be looking at.
So you talked about the history and some of the limitations in the data available. What approaches can we take now to try to rectify that?
So there's a lot of things we can do to increase our diversity in our research and our study populations. One, there's still a hesitancy to include people. You still see problems of, but population stratification, that's hard to account for. Well, no, not really. We have multiple methods out there that can do that statistically, study design-wise. We need to get over that barrier, get over ourselves. Really, it's time. It may be 10% more effort, maybe a tiny bit more, but it's the right thing to do, and you need to make that effort as a researcher to do that right thing.
How much does education play a role in that, not just for the researchers, but the general public as well, to say your population is not represented, therefore we'd like you to come forward maybe and be involved in these studies?
That's a huge part. We need to get, so there's two barriers to it. There's the researchers saying, it's going to be harder, we have population stratification, there's all this different family structure, it's harder to do. And then there's the hesitancy of some communities to participate in research because of, in large part, our past wrongs. We have violated the Native Americans many times, we as a research community. The Tuskegee syphilis makes people wary to participate. Do we have their best interest? And we need to get in there and really work with them. There's multiple ways we can do that. If we engage young people from various communities and get them involved and maybe following a career in genetics and research, then they really understand the barriers within their own community and they can help us overcome those. Dr. Garrison, who proposed this session with me, is not able to be here because she's helping the Navajo Nation as they reconsider their moratorium on genetic research. And so she's helping them redo what their stance is. And I'm very optimistic that we will soon have a new policy in the Navajo Nation that allows us to have genetic research.
And that is truly going to break down those barriers. Let's look ahead and have that optimism and say, if we do have a more varied population of data, what does that mean for both researchers and people in a clinical setting?
It means better understanding of disease, better ability to predict somebody's risk. It's also very important in the rare variant spectrum when you're looking at monogenic diseases. A lot of times we do filtering exercises to see, okay, is this a new variant? Have we seen this before? And if you're looking at the wrong population, you won't see the variant, and you might think that something is causative when it's not. It could actually be very common in their ancestry or something like that. So it's really important that we understand the genetics of an individual and their community to be able to offer them the best treatment.
To enhance diagnosis, to better treat them and have a healthier world.
Yes, all of those things.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.